When I was little, my grandpa always used to tell me, um, when I was telling him like all the stuff that I was gonna do. It was usually to do with sports because I played baseball, but he always used to tell me, "Don't tell me, show me what you're gonna do." And that was actually my senior quote in high school, which I thought was pretty fascinating. I've never actually made a video on it before, um, but I'm up and it's around like 1 in the morning. And the last 2 days, I've gone to bed very late for at least for me, um, due to a series of like bad decisions on my part to just basically sit around and do absolutely nothing. And it kind of got me thinking just about how if you tell people what your plans are or what you desire, then if you don't carry out on that, they're not you to understand why you didn't do it. And so to them, it's just going to look like they said they were going to do this thing and then they didn't. And from an outsider's perspective, somebody doesn't have your feelings, they don't have your thoughts. And so, really, they'll never entirely understand why you didn't follow through. And so, by constantly telling people that, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to achieve this, or I want to do this more, they're going to either give you the reward like, oh, that's such a good idea up front before you've even done any work. Like they're going to praise you just for the idea instead of the actual action. Then this is destructive because then you have no desire to take the action because you've already gotten a good reward from not doing so. But secondly, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf story. Every time you tell somebody that you're going to do something and for whatever reason you don't do it, the more that you do that consecutively, the less they'll believe you each time you say it. And so if you are really in a situation where it matters and that you need to tell people what you're going to do, um, it really takes a toll on respect if you don't follow through. So if we use a random example that if you want to tell, you're going to tell someone that like, oh, you're going to start going to the gym. I always seem to use the gym as an example because it's the most convenient and a lot of people relate to it. And you tell them, hey, I'm going to start going to the gym. And they're like, oh, that's a really great idea. Okay, you just got some dopamine for that. So now you feel kind of like already accomplished, even though you haven't actually gone to the gym yet. But then you decide that you still want to go to the gym, but you'd miss it 4 out of the 5 last times you said it. So to that person, you only actually show up 20% of the time for the things you say. And for pretty much anyone, I don't know of anyone who would take a 20%, would bet on 20%, right? And so next time you say something, they're going to assume that you're not going to follow through because 20% success rate is so low that most people think it's the equivalent of zero, right? Really, just the punchline of this whole video that I'm going to wrap up really quickly is stop telling people what you're going to do with your day, your life, what your goals are, and just start working towards them. People will see the work that you're putting in, they will see the results. And both of those do so much more than telling them what you're going to do. Unless it's directly impacted by them. For example, if you want to buy a new house, it would probably be smart to tell your wife or your husband or your mom or your like whoever is relying on you that you want to do this because they'll be directly affected by it, right? But more so what I'm talking about is personal goals and personal aspirations, personal wants, personal needs, anything that you're going to do that really just affects you. Just don't tell anyone about it because then you avoid all chance of the potential negative consequences of not following through. Even if you have a good reason, most people won't see the good reason like you do, and they'll just see it as an excuse. And so even to you, you've missed the gym 4 times for a good reason and you're just fine. The person or the people who you told you were going to go see you as only showing up 20% of the time, and they're not going to trust you in the future. And this takes a toll on your long-term like respect score for people. And so for myself, really, this is more the message of stop telling people what you're going to do and just start working towards it. They'll notice the work and they'll appreciate that far more than you not showing up in the first place after you told them that you were. Because somebody who like you are what you actually do, not what you say you're going to do. Um, Anyone can say 1,001 things, but very few actually do it. And it's funny because if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, it takes a toll on your respect. But if you don't say anything and then you do accomplish something, people actually respect the fact that you did it, or at least work towards it without telling anyone, because that meant that you didn't need anybody else's validation, which shows a lot of confidence. And then even if you don't necessarily succeed, if you don't tell anyone and you actually try and maybe you fail, they'll probably still recognize it in the same ways which you win. And I mean, I know I keep saying that people like recognize it, or the people is a praise, and it's not about the other people, but really it is, because you're the one who's telling other people about it, and so it that makes it all about the other people unless they're directly impacted by it. So don't make it about other people, make it about the goal and you. And if it's about the goal and you don't need to tell anyone about it, and it'll be a lot easier to follow through with. So that's all I have for the day, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out.